I want to read to you from the Daily Guide to Organize Your Time, Home, and Office. I want to read the introduction and the first part of Chapter 1. Introduction. One of the most common worries is not having enough time to do everything that should be done, and not even enough for things that we wish to do. In this book, I want to share advice consisting in alternatives that I have identified as useful to make time more available like we wanted to. It's the result of searching practical and easy solutions that may be used during different aspects of our lives, in the work done at home and also at our jobs. I have found that when some advice given to try to solve this problem is put into practice, the desired results are not obtained because the recommendations are very complicated and require a lot of constancy, effort, and will. Other recommendations require precisely what we don't have enough of: time. They are designed for persons that really have a lot of time available to put them into practice. For these reasons, I have tried to identify strategies that are efficient so we can really be able to make the best use of our time and get better organized. We have used each and every one of the alternatives that are included in this book, and we have found them very useful. The ones that we have used and that have not helped us were discarded. This has motivated us to make a compilation in order to share them with other persons that, like us, aspire to have more free time to do other things that need to be done and things that we wish to do. We feel confident that in the same way we have found these alternatives useful, they may help others to face the problems that lack of time and disorganization are. In Chapter 1, we will give recommendations that have to do with a home. We include some strategies on how to maintain a home in acceptable conditions, even if we have only little time for it. We also give advice on performing the different domestic tasks that are indispensable of practically all home areas. They can be modified to take care of the needs each home can have, because every one of them is different. It's important to make clear that we recommend reading this chapter even though you usually don't do these chores, because the advice may also be useful at work and to organize other aspects in our lives. In Chapter 2, we have included additional advice on being organized and keep up with our jobs, although this advice is also useful in our home. We give recommendations on the way to use an agenda and also include ways to simplify handling mail and other documents. The strategies that are included in the second chapter are also useful for persons that are dedicated to the home chores. Chapter 1: Home Organization. We would all like our home to always be in such conditions that may be photographed for the front cover of a magazine. This aspiration would be more easily reached if we paid someone to do this job, but not everyone can or wants to delegate home chores. There are many reasons for preferring to do our own home chores. It may be because we cannot incur in this additional expense. It may also be because, in some way, our privacy is at stake when we hire someone for these chores, and occasionally getting someone reliable for these chores may be very difficult. And even if we hire someone, we are supposed to be nearby and supervise to make sure that the job is done well. On the other hand, many persons that work in home maintenance refuse to do jobs in addition to only pick up, organizing, or any other job more complicated than the most basic cleaning chores. We all want a perfectly organized home, but we have to recognize that result is not obtainable in a day, nor do we have to aspire to achieve this. If we want a lasting result, aspiring to something instantaneous is not realistic, nor the correct way to follow. In order to obtain truly lasting results, having and using tools that make these jobs easier is necessary. This is the main purpose of this first chapter. Initial evaluation. In the first place, we should evaluate our home situation. Like every case is different, just for argument's sake, let's suppose that everything is awful. The kitchen and bathroom are dirty. All the rooms are messed up. Clothes are everywhere. We have not bought food. The lawn has not been mowed, and everything is a disaster. Where shall we start? Although it may sound incredible, you should begin by reading this book. Anything else doesn't matter at this moment. If your home is a disaster, a little additional time, the time that takes reading this book, will not do any additional harm. What would be an error is trying to face all these situations without a strategy such as any of the ones available in this book. Using at least some of the included recommendations can make a great difference in the situation and in our attitude towards what we have to face. In order to face any difficult job, it is advisable to have a work plan. We will provide a model to make this plan. It may be used as is and then be changed to fit it to the existing reality in our home. This work plan can gradually be changed because with time and practice, we will become aware of the changes that should be done to this model to take care of the more important chores depending on a home's particular situation. Once perfected, the plan shall be one of the most important tools that we may have to have an always presentable home. This is the introduction and the first part of Chapter 1 of the book Daily Guide to Organize Your Time, Home, and Office. To continue with the rest of the book, please subscribe. And you may also share it with other persons that you may understand can benefit from it. The next part of Chapter 1 has to do with the work plan for the first to the last day of the month. The book Daily Guide to Organize Your Time, Home, and Office is available at Amazon. The book is also available at its Facebook page at Daily Guide to Organize